Don't call me a conspiracy theorist for this information I'm about to share. When I saw these clips I'm about to show you, it was so bizarre and so unbelievable, I had to make this video. Let's listen to what NASA's oldest active astronaut, Don Petit, has to say.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
Are you serious? We don't have the technology to go back to the moon, and it's too much of a painful process to put back together again? You're talking about NASA, who has had hundreds of billions, upwards to over $1 trillion given to them by the US government to do this exact type of stuff. The moon landing is supposed to be one of NASA's biggest accomplishments, and they can't even reproduce it? Considering the fact that we've had cell phones, an increase in technology, and a bell curve of innovation over the past 50 and 60 years. But yeah, what he said. If that wasn't weird enough, let's meet Gene Kranz, the Apollo 11 flight director.
I haven't seen anything that indicates the telemetry data is even in existence, and as I said, even if we had it, we don't have the machines to play it back.
But your own research has shown the telemetry data is missing.
That's right.
Could this be true?
No big deal, just the original science data from the moon landing, completely missing. Is that supposed to be understandable from $1 trillion branch of government? Let's take a trip to NASA's Goddard Space Center with a man who made a documentary talking about this exact stuff.
If it's anywhere, it should be here at NASA's Goddard Space Center in Maryland, home to the National Space Science Data Archives.
This film you're making now, what is it? Does it have a name? I mean, do you have a name for it yet, or
You're calling it Did We Go?
Did We Go? Okay.
Doesn't have it either. The Smithsonian doesn't have it. Johnson doesn't have it.
Right. We've been unable to track it down. I mean, we don't know where this telemetry data ended up, and we don't know what path it may have taken. So. Unfortunately, I'm afraid I can't really give you much of a clue as to where this data ended up and whether it still exists or not.
NASA admitted that it had lost the original footage of man's first steps on the moon.
That's correct. They also admitted to losing the original footage. This is not a conspiracy theory, folks. This is mainstream news. It's in Reuters. What I spoke about earlier was in the Forbes. No big deal, just the data, the footage, and the technology from the moon landing completely missing. What's their excuse for losing the tapes? Oh, we were running out of tapes, so we needed to retape over those tapes. Considering the budget is up to $17 billion per year, doesn't that seem a little strange? I'm not saying we didn't go to the moon. I'll let you draw your own conclusions and have your own theories as to what truly happened. All I'm saying is, it's very, very odd that we don't have the technology to go back to the moon, we don't have the original moon landing footage, and we don't have the data from the moon landing. Considering the hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars that NASA has received from the federal government and from your taxpayer dollars, maybe next time we can employ somebody to keep an eye on this stuff.
We don't know what 98% of the universe is. Scientists spread rumors.
How do you balance science with science fiction? They're both the same.
All what NASA is doing is the equal of science fiction. Is it possible that life exists on that planet that's only a shadow in a telescope?
They are able to observe phenomena.
No, they can't observe.
It's too far away. It's too theoretical. How do we know what they're saying is true? You know what it really is? It's all science fiction.
Alan Dulles brought in all the Nazi scientists and so forth. They went to two places. They went to CIA and they went to the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, which in our world we call it not a space agency. And as Kathy O'Brien has said so clearly, that's where the bulk of the mind control has been done.
If you see something repeat 100 times, that's reality. It's just something that becomes true just because you heard it often enough. You hear it enough, it must be true.
Yeah.
There it is. In the old days, we called it brainwashing, where you repeat something and then it becomes true.
I told you my joke. A Nazi, a pedophile, a Satanist, and a Scientologist walk into a bar. What do?
I don't know.
Invent NASA. Okay, that's who invented NASA. All right.
Has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not
an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and
okay, class, today we will be looking at the proudest moment in American history, the Apollo 11 moon landing. Here we can see Neil Armstrong taking that historic first step and becoming the first man to walk on the moon. Yes, Timmy?
Who shot that?
What?
Who shot that footage?
What do you mean?
Well, if Neil Armstrong was the first man on the moon, then who's holding the camera?
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Well,
Who's out there with the camera?
No, I know what you're asking. I'm just...
Very fine-grained as you get close to it. It's almost like a powder.
Could have been like a tripod, or... No, that's not.
Tranquility Base,
I remember my parents waking me up, and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No,
which
you
was
didn't. No, you didn't.
What?
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation. See, you associated what you saw with...
I have very hazy memories.
Yeah, I know.
Well, no, but what we saw was we all were gathered around the old curved top radio and listened.
Talking about how many feet we were going to the left and right, and then I said contact light, engine stop.
It was
and a few
exciting.
other things, and then Neil said, Houston, Tranquility Base, the Eagle has landed. Man, how about that?
That was very exciting.
Not a bad line.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for So, I guess you want to do it again. Okay. Sorry, Mr. Gorski.
You don't think the moon landing is real?
No, I don't. No. Do you?
Yeah.
Why do you think the moon landing is real? Why don't you tell me why?
I saw
Have
it
you
on
looked into
television.
Oh, you're a genius. Oh, beep that. Hit
Okay,
that.
we'll bleep it. We'll bleep it. No, it's okay. We got
That's
it.
genius. You saw it on TV? That's awesome. I'm going to show you some CGI. I'm going to show you King Kong. I saw that on TV, too. There's an 80-foot gorilla. He's running around kidnapping white chicks. You should check it out.
All I'm saying is, when I look at all of it, when I look at the photographic evidence, or I look at the fact that we haven't been back since 1972, when I look at the fact that no humans except the Apollo astronauts have ever gone through the Van Allen radiation belt, the fact that no one's even done a flyby around the moon since then, it seems weird to me. When I look at the press conference and I see Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong and Michael Collins nervous and weird and obviously, like, being deceptive after they came back, I go, what is that? I look at all that stuff. When I look at the video footage that Bart Sebrel character had. Now, when I look at that video, and some of the video that Sebrel has, of them faking the distance between the Earth and the Moon, when they're shooting the Moon, or the Earth rather, through a circular window in the lunar module, and they have the windows blacked out, they're pretending that it's deep space, they're saying that they're 130,000 miles out, and then you see them pull the window curtains down, or the shade, whatever they have covering up with the windows, and you see that they're actually in near-Earth orbit. That makes me curious. When I look at the photographs and I see intersecting shadows. Now, I'm no photographic expert. I don't know anything about the moon, really, except stuff that I've read on the internet. I'm no scientist. But when I see intersecting shadows that seem to show some sort of a different light source, or more than one light source, it looks odd to me. When I see that those crosshairs aren't over all the images, it looks cut and cropped to me. When I look at some of the photographs of the moon, I have this gigantic coffee book coffee table book, and it's all, you know, a NASA book, and it's beautiful pictures of the moon and all these different photographs. Well, when I look at some of them, they look obviously fake. They look cut and cropped. And I'm not saying I know they are. I'm not saying I have any special information. But I'm an open-minded person. And when I look at it, I say, look, I know I sound like a retard. I know I sound like a crackpot. I know saying that, you know, the Earth is hollow, there's dinosaurs inside of it, I'm sure. It's very similar to saying I don't think people landed on the moon. But you know what? I don't think people landed on the moon.
There's no way people went on the moon. There's no way. There's no way people went on the moon. There's no way.
Neil Tyson, thank you very much for coming on here, man. This is an honor. This is a blast. I think the universe is going to explode. You are, for sure, the most requested podcast guest ever in the history of this podcast. So Brian and I have been doing this for 3 years, and we have come full cycle with your appearance here today.
Right.
Like you're very important. I don't know if you know how important like the cool guy scientist is.
I can't tell you how many times.
Very important.
No, so I have evidence of how important that is.
You know, I think one of the cool things about you and your approach to science is I think it's very refreshing. No, I'm a retard. Listen, if anybody has any real sense, they would look at it and say, there's no way that was a hoax. There's no way. There's no way that was a hoax. There's no way.
There's no way people went on the moon. There's no way. There's no way people went on the moon. There's no way.
See? Honestly, moon landing shit, was it real? Was it not? It was not in the back of my mind.
Yeah, it wasn't in mine, but I forgot that Russell's a moon guy. Look, I've argued with people, and I absolutely don't know. I don't know. I don't believe.
Joe, you were totally down for, you were the moon hoax crusader. Something.
No. Listen,
Joe, you were totally down for, you were the moon hoax crusader. Something.
No. Listen, man. Here's my issue. My issue is, how can I even argue it? How is it possible that I even have points?
Joe,
how is it possible that anybody
Joe, let's
could have
go to the
points?
moon.
In 2001, investigative journalist and award-winning filmmaker Bart Sibrel produced the excellent documentary A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. When requesting footage for his movie, Sibrel was sent either by mistake or by a well-meaning whistleblower an official raw-slated NASA clip from the Apollo 11 mission showing a young Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, and Michael Collins for almost an hour using transparencies and camera tricks to fake shots of a round Earth. They communicate over audio with control in Houston about how to accurately stage the shot, and someone keeps prompting them on how to effectively manipulate the camera to achieve the desired effect. First, they blacked out all the windows, except for a downward-facing circular one, which they aimed the camera towards from several feet away. This created the illusion of a ball-shaped Earth surrounded by the blackness of space, when in fact it was simply a round window in their dark cabin. Neil Armstrong claimed at this point to be 130,000 miles from Earth, halfway to the moon, but when camera tricks were finished, the viewer could see for themselves the astronauts were not more than 100 miles above the Earth's surface, likely flying in a high-altitude plane.
What's the scariest moment of the journey?
Scariest. It didn't happen. It could have been scary. Circuit breaker. It didn't happen. It could have been scary. Circuit breaker.
Here's like a perfect example of them landing on the moon. I mean, it's proof right there. This is an official NASA photo of the first Apollo 11 lunar module landing on the moon. I mean, it's right there. This is proof, man. It's the picture's right there. It's landing on the moon. But the only problem I have with this picture is that it's taken from the moon. I don't know what the big deal was with being the first guy on the moon. It seems the camera crew was already there. The fucking tripod. Camera A, B, C. So there it is. That's a fucking photo. There it is landing for the first time, but how? How?
Why don't we see any land when we're looking down at the ocean from the space station?
Because you're over top of ocean.
Okay, well, don't you think they could be fooling us with this picture?
Okay, I give you this. I give you this.
Wait, watch the picture.
I know that.
Watch
I know,
the picture.
I know
Watch
that they
the picture.
airbrushed some stuff.
It's not
up.
airbrushed. This is us in our front yard on a solar panel, and we tricked you, showing you how easy. We have zero budget. They have $65 million a day, and I tricked you.
People time to wake up and realize we are being played like a deck of cards.
The world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
Power of the system we live in is to make people believe things that are so ridiculous on the face of it, but they've been told it over and over and over since the day they were born that they can't question it anymore.
Life support system and communications link from the spacecraft life support system out through that chest.
You're free in days and you start taking pictures and all of that of it, but then you forget that there are
They are manifestly fake. Look at this one that was launched during a space shuttle mission. It's dangling from a wire. Yes, the graphics are getting better, but this one old video alone proves NASA's fake.
Happy 4th of July. I'm NASA astronaut Kjell Lindgren, along with my NASA crewmate Bob Hines, orbiting aboard the International Space Station.
We design the missions, train the crews, and orchestrate the flights from right here in Houston.
Today's adventure takes me to the Johnson Space Center at NASA in Houston, Texas.
Orbiting aboard the International Space Station.
Right here in Houston. Right here in Houston.
And I'm standing on the International Space Station.
Right here in Houston.
The International Space Station. The International Space Station.
I descend into the clearest water I've ever seen, and it looks like an underwater movie set. Like an underwater movie set. Like an underwater movie set.
NASA investigators said a close call at the space station last summer was the most serious incident ever during a spacewalk. It should have been prevented, they said. An Italian astronaut was in danger of drowning because of a leak.
44 minutes into his spacewalk last July 16th, astronaut Luca Parmitano reported water inside his helmet.
I can feel it in the back of my head. I don't understand where it's coming from.
The fluid buildup quickly got worse, making it difficult for him to hear and see.
I experienced what it's like to be a goldfish in a fishbowl from the point of view of the goldfish.
And NASA spacewalk officer Karina Eversley conceded excess water in a space helmet presents a real danger.
The choking or drowning is definitely a possibility.
But just my gut inside me said, that's my dive buddy, and I should be with my dive buddy. That's my dive buddy, and I should be with my dive buddy. That's my dive buddy, and I should be with my dive buddy.
Now, one of the solutions that NASA came up with was really clever. The idea of, well, we need to put something that absorbs water on the back of your head. Hey, let's use a diaper. I thought that's a clever solution to this problem.
Yeah, pretty neat. They also came up with the snorkel idea too, you know.
Hey, let's use a diaper. I thought that's a clever solution to
my dive buddy, and I should be with my dive buddy. That's my
Of the International Space Station. We do not know what the source of this stream of particles is at the point.
It's what an air hose looks like when you, if you were to shoot air out of a tank into the water, like underwater. That's what it looks like, a hose, an air hose, blowing bubbles everywhere in a pool.
Okay, I want to test you guys, because some of you guys are like, you're not convinced yet. That's the Earth, man. Don't fuck with that shit. So let's do a little test on perception. I'm going to show you a couple of images here, and then you tell me which one of the following images on the screen is an image of a painting painted by hand that looks real, or is an image taken by a camera of something that actually exists. So, image or photo, painting or photo. By applause, how many people think this is a painting? By applause, how many people think this is a photo? It's a painting. I did it. Okay, here, by applause. This is a bit technical here. How many people think that this is a painting? By applause. How many people, by applause, think this is a photo of toys that are painted? This is a painting of toys that are painted. Cesar Santander, European artist, high realism. Okay, by applause, how many people think this is a painting? How many think this is a photo? This is a painting. I did it. I fucking did that. Money on steroids. No, that's a fucking, I swear to God. Next. So I know what I'm talking about. This is an official NASA photo of the North Pole. Go back! What is that? Is that you? Or is that the... Okay, go back to the other one. Go back to the other one. Go back to the other one. Okay, this is an official... Sorry to give you shit there, Dan. You're doing a great job. But this is an official... This is an authentic, apparently, from NASA. This is an authentic NASA photo of the Arctic, the North Pole. By applause, how many people think that this is a painting? By applause, how many people think this is bullshit? There you go, that's Europe. The sun's hitting it. Applause, you think that's a photo? Well, satellite imagery, man, there's infrared and shit. Alright, next image. This is Olilapia. Next image. This is Olilapia without an Adobe Photoshop shading. And this is the texture that I cut out with a circle to create the fake fucking moon called Olilapia. Are you telling me that we just gotta take black construction paper, cut out a circle, put it on fucking peanut butter and jam spills, and say, hey, it's Ipapopo? And you fucking swallow that shit every day? It's funny, I do this today because you saw the Google today, they had the Hubble telescope. It looked like a kid's drawing. Did you fucking see that today? That's why I'm doing this today. So this is the next one, you can go to the next one. That's it. I mean, I just take out, I say it's not a circle, it's not a sphere. Right away, what do you have in your brain? Well, you think it's flat and there's water falling off into the fucking outer space like Bugs Bunny. So either you have a square or a circle in your head. It's either Coke or Pepsi with the shape of the planet. What if it's bigger? What if there's more land that they're hiding from? Next photo. It's funny how NASA gives us these little pictures, eh? Every week there's a little NASA photo, what they're up to, just to keep you fucking nursing off the teat or whatever. This is an amazing monumental sort of feat of space exploration. This is the Galileo satellite. Full authentic NASA imagery of the Galileo satellite. Must have cost like $1 trillion for this fucking operation. Very expensive. This is the Galileo satellite. They never knew it would go that far and reach Jupiter. You know, they didn't know. It's the first time anything goes that far. It managed to get there. There's Jupiter. There's one of its moons. I mean, it's clearly lining up to take some really good photos of Jupiter. Immediately followed by a camera satellite. Perfectly composing the whole shot out in outer space. Amazing, eh? What the cameras can do when they fly. It's into outer space, a place we've never been to. That's amazing. Look at that. That's perfect. That's like the photo of the year, if you ask me. For a fucking satellite to be able to like, you know, like wake up in outer space, we didn't even know we could do that. You know, and unbelievable. I give it to NASA.
At the Earth, NASA lies. NASA is a devil in disguise. I repeat, no shuttle has ever pierced through the sky.
In a small, bright office, working side by side.
Let's see.
Robert Hurt and Tim Pyle bring the universe to life.
What we're doing does have real science underlying it.
Tim, once a Hollywood animator, is now a Planet illustrator. Together, they produce some of NASA's most popular images. It's a delicate blend of imagination and data. It can take days, even weeks, to produce just a single image. The dazzling final results, enough to keep us all dreaming of the final frontier for years to come.
It is photoshopped, but it's has to be. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.
This is going to happen in 1973. You're going to make this happen?
No. We're going to make models much cheaper. Then we photograph the models.
Fake newsreels?
That's fake newsreels. For the past 10 years, people have been looking at our fake newsreels and listening to our fake commentaries.
And they accept it for the truth.
You just start making stuff up. Yeah. Like that Neil Armstrong guy. Have you seen him on the talk shows?
Neil Armstrong, you mean the first man to walk on the moon?
Talk about a fish story. Man, and they're buying.
Where this guy's head accidentally gets in the video.
In a trajectory to exit distant retrograde orbit and head back toward the moon ahead of RPF today.
Oh, that was not good. Shit.
Which we're awaiting and looking forward to. And here's some video just prior to.
Space station itself is, I like to see pictures of it. It looks to me like it's an animation, like this was a cartoon, but the space station itself is, I like to see pictures of it. It looks to me like it's an animation, like this was a cartoon, but that's a real place.
It is hard to believe that this is really happening. It's really real, and that we are up here applying everything that we've learned over the past several years. And when I was doing them, I definitely had no idea that this would be one day how it would all end up.
It almost doesn't seem real. You could have convinced me I never went. It almost doesn't seem real. You could have convinced me I never went.
I'll tell you, it is still difficult to believe that this is happening.
I came back and my memories were there, but it almost didn't seem real. You could have convinced me I never went.
And believing that it could happen?
That it's hard to grasp at all.
How insignificant really we are as humans.
It almost didn't seem real.
We're so used to looking at maps or globes. In low Earth orbit, you don't see a globe. In low Earth orbit, you don't see a globe. In low Earth orbit, you don't see a globe.
So let's have a look. Space shuttle, then space shuttle looking at the ISS. And as you can see with the black trim around the window, the space shuttle appears to pop inside the space shuttle. Almost like they're coming in for a cup of tea. You right out there, lads? Fancy coming in for a cuppa? Yeah, why not? We'll bring the space station with us. Come on, lads. In we go. Oops. Ridiculous.
This is fake. This is fake. This is fake? Yeah, that's Photoshop. That's fake. On my mama, that's fake. On my heart.
And I love this video because it looks like animation, like something that somebody made. I love this video because it looks like animation, like something that somebody made, but it's actually real footage from the space shuttle, just sped up just a little bit. And you'll see that, and look at this, this is not animation. That is a real photograph, a movie of the space station. And that was me playing the flute a little bit up there. And this is a little video. It's about 4 minutes long here. So there's the space station. I love that this is not animation. This is film taken by a shuttle of the space station. And so this is real. It's not animation. Now this looks like animation, and I'm very proud to know that it's actually real film. It's not a video game. People are living there.
I know this looks like animation, but it's actually really real.
The shot is so clear. Is this a hoax? Are you really in space still?
I love this video because it looks like animation. It doesn't look real, but it is real.
Well, I think it looks so ridiculous and impossible. And you can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly. Like, we'd have way better CGI if it was fake. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake.
Now, China had, they built a space station. They forgot to photograph it or video it while they were building it, just like the ISS. And they showed kind of a flat Earth, and then it kind of morphed into a pear, and then it eventually morphs into a sphere. What are they showing us? Okay? What are they showing us? It's absolute nonsense. This was from their live feed. So, using a critical thinking, this is fake. We never went to the moon. NASA's lying.
So she's got a ball that's filled with helium. It's a real ball, but this is not real. Watch, I'll show it again. This is not real.
Yeah.
He even beamed it in, and so she's playing with it. It's called augmented reality, right? They're moving. She either has contacts in or is looking at a screen behind the camera, and she's maneuvering objects. It's just green screen technology that they use. It's very simple, and they're really bad.
Even worse, this next issue here, let me lay it out for you. You've got Tim Peake on the ISS, ready to do a live interview with this studio audience, and you've got this girl with a hoop and a ball, and she supposedly sent this experiment for Tim to do while on the ISS. Well, Tim did it on the ISS. He did it in front of a blue checkered screen and refused to do it live.
Now, Tim, you've also been doing some demonstrations for science students, and one of those science students is Emily. Now, you've got some kit there that you actually designed for Tim, really to just show how difficult it is to demonstrate physics here on Earth. And it's a track and a ball. Just show us what actually happens there. And gravity's really just pulling that ball back down. Now, Tim has actually done the same experiment. You weren't able to do it live, but you weren't able to do it live, but you weren't able to do it live, you weren't able to do it live, you weren't able to do it live. But we don't seem to have the video, unfortunately. But the ball the ball does continue all the way around. Just explain, Tim, what's happening.
I'd rather Tim explain why he couldn't do it live. Was it that hard to bring out the little hoop and ball? Or is it because the blue checkered backdrop allows them to basically CGI that apparatus into his hand? And that's why he's standing so still.
Yes, again, it's one of the phenomena of microgravity. It's a wonderful environment to demonstrate some of those basic scientific principles.
That is true. It's such a wonderful environment to demonstrate some of those basic principles of physics, however, not live. It's been way too difficult to bring out the entire hoop and the entire ball to do right there on the screen for everybody. Even if he was filming it for some sort of educational video earlier in the day, there's no reason why you wouldn't have the device and the ball live for the studio audience. It's ridiculous.
Saturday, May 30th, 2020, a live feed was aired by news and government outlets showing SpaceX and NASA collaborating to launch two astronauts, Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley, into orbit to join the International Space Station. The launch finally took place at the Launch Complex 39A in Florida after a weather delay on May 27th, 3 days earlier. Many viewers noticed a small rodent crawling across the Merlin engine during the broadcast. While that sounds cute in itself, the moment this rodent made his live TV appearance was after the rocket carrying the two astronauts had achieved an altitude of 200 kilometers, which is approximately 124 miles high. And the craft was traveling 13,000 kilometers per hour, which is 8,000 miles an hour, or Mach 10. The rodent moving around on the engine metal was seemingly unaffected by the immense speed, air friction, extreme temperatures, or lack of oxygen. Saturday's footage leaves many clear-thinking scientists and physicists to question the validity of these claims in media productions. A mouse shouldn't be casually walking across the metal engine of a craft, supposedly traveling at Mach 10 with no breathable air. Are these launches real?
I need your help solving this mystery. Here we are on some Chinese space station way up in space. 100% guaranteed, way up in space, totally real. And here are our astronauts, totally clean cut, like they just arrived yesterday, sharp haircuts and everything, very clean. It probably is their 300th day though, we don't know. Here they are floating around because there's no gravity up there. They tell us that there's no gravity, so we know that there's no gravity. But there's one problem. The glass of water forgot to float. What is it doing? Doesn't it know that it's supposed to be in space? Is it a pocket of gravity? I know that there's an answer. There always is an answer. And it's going to be some magical, like, settling equation or something like that. I think I see a little bit of curve on that water. I can tell that water's curved. It's not really level. Nothing is really level. So it's probably some sort of refraction. I'm going to call it that. I love space, man.
This shit made me second guess reality.
Okay, but let me see it.
This video is of, you know when Elon sent a Tesla into space?
Yeah.
So he sent a Tesla into space and there was like a dummy in it. But look.
Let me see.
So this guy was watching it live stream, because this was a live stream, right?
Okay.
Look what happened.
Yo, look how fake this is. Look, this Elon Musk shit.
So he's watching the Tesla live stream.
Okay.
Look.
Boom!
Where he at?
You see that?
Pause it. Look, he ain't it.
So pause it. You see the Tesla and the robot. Look where it is.
Where is it?
It's
Is that
look.
like
Now
green
keep
screen?
watching. Keep watching.
Okay.
Space? What is this? Oh wait, let me fix it. Let me unpause this. Look at this. Oh,
All of a sudden, in
space.
space.
There you go.
In space.
How they do that?
That shit was fake the whole time. That shit was fake the whole time. They faked the Tesla being in space, bro.
Well, I think it looks so ridiculous and impossible. And you can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly. Like, we'd have way better CGI if it was fake. You know, like everything looks too crisp. But we didn't really test any of those materials for, is it space hardened or whatever, So it just has the same seats that like a normal car has. It's just literally a normal car in space, which I kind of like the absurdity of that.
On the ground or go for undocking.
Wait a minute! And it cuts to this shot here. Again, a close-up of the Dragon capsule. So we've gone from this shot to this shot of the Dragon capsule. And you see the problem? Supposedly filmed from this area here, looking up at the Dragon capsule, giving us this shot. But the problem is the horizon and the globe Earth curve is in the wrong place. If this way round, the way it was 1 second earlier.
Muriel, we're separated by 8,000 miles, so there's a little bit of a delay between us. I say to you, good evening, and for us, good morning.
Thanks, Daryl. That's right. Welcome to quite literally the future. And I'm going to hand it back over to you at Kennedy, Daryl.
All right, great report, Muriel. And quick question for you. Why launch from New Zealand?
Daryl, if you're looking for a launch site, it's really a one-in-a-million location.
It certainly is, and it's incredibly gorgeous, especially during the day.
Thanks, Daryl. On your screen right now is the range control section. Over to you, Daryl.
All right, thank you, Muriel. It'll be 5:55 a.m. Eastern Time as well. Let's head back down to New Zealand and join Muriel for more on that. Muriel?
Thank you, Daryl.
That's so cool. You are so much better of an astronaut, Paige, than those other fakes.
Thank you. And if you're hungry in space, gotta have your floating Fritos to munch on. So I don't want to give GMOs any publicity, but it's all we have hanging around. Yum, yum, yum.
Commander Whitson making history with her record for any American. By the time she lands in September, her tally will be 666 days.
666 days in space.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
99, proceeded, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector grid. X-Dot. This is ground control to Major Tom.
Lighter than air vehicles, high-altitude airships, and high-altitude platforms are often misperceived as satellites by the public. So at nighttime, when you see one of those moving dots in the sky and believe it to be a satellite, it's actually one of these illuminated balloons. The skies are riddled with these communications technologies, but we are made to believe that they exist beyond our atmosphere. If we are to believe NASA's stories, then here's a question. How do satellites survive the 4,000 degree Fahrenheit temperature in space? There are only 7 elements on the periodic table that could withstand this heat, and none of them have been used for satellites. Satellites allegedly reside in the thermosphere, where temperatures can soar 4,000 degrees and more. This is simply not possible. These technologies are in flight underneath our dome. Including the technologies I just named, there are at least 18 platforms that can be used independently, in tandem, or in groups to provide all of the services that satellites supposedly provide. With new eyes, it becomes clear. No actual photos, no actual video footage, just CGI and photoshopped images. On the gravestone of Wernher von Braun, one of NASA's early rocket developers, there is a reference to a Bible verse that talks about our dome, our firmament. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament sheath his...
Is that what always happens? Does it always go like that?
Yep.
It looks bad to me. It's in space, or is it? Is that it?
Yep, I think that's it.
Right in the middle.
Or not.
Oh no, it's going down!
What a mark. Peter, or Sandy, is it turning or is the earth spinning?
A rainbow.
Sandy? It's not turning, the earth is spinning.
Is that what always happens? Does it always go like that?
Yep.
It looks bad to me. It's in space, or is it? Is that it?
Yep, I think that's it.
Right in the middle.
Or not.
Oh no, it's going down!
The best example of space shuttle fakery is the Challenger disaster. In 1986, the shuttle Challenger exploded about 74 seconds after takeoff, killing all 7 astronauts inside. Or did it? It turns out that 6 of the 7 are still alive and kicking today. Ellison Onizuka claims to be his identical twin brother Claude. Yeah, I've got an identical twin brother Claude too. The Challenger pilot Mickey Smith hasn't even bothered changing his name. He's now Professor Michael J. Smith of University of Wisconsin. Now, Krista McAuliffe was a bit of a sneaky one. She was the Challenger payload specialist, quite famous for being a teacher. It turns out during her astronaut days she was using her middle name, Krista, and now she goes by her first name, Sharon, and she's a Syracuse law professor. The Challenger commander, Francis Richard Scobie, is now Dick Scobie, which sounds like a rather unpleasant disease, CEO of Cows in Trees Limited. Judith Resnick, the Challenger mission specialist, again hasn't even bothered changing her name. She's a professor at Yale Law. And finally, Ronald McNair, another Challenger mission specialist, claims to be his identical twin brother, Carl McNair. What are the odds?
This is the hypersonic track sled. Watch it carefully. It's going to whiz by. Whoa. You didn't even see it. We'll go again. Mach 8.6. Now, we're orbiting the sun 10 times faster than this. According to the heliocentric model, the ball model, we're orbiting 10 times faster than this. And we're chasing the sun 100 times faster than this.
How can they prove that?
They can't. Every test ever done proves that we're not moving. Okay? This is the insanity they want you to believe in. So people go, well, I can drive and I can fly in an airplane and drink a glass of water and walk to the bathroom. I say, double the speed of the airplane, take the outside of the airplane off, and let me know how your water and your trip to the bathroom's going, because that's the slowest speed that the Earth is moving, right?
But what really gives it away is the insane amount of curvature at the very beginning of the video while the camera is still close to the ground. If this is the actual curve of the Earth, then the Earth is no bigger than the state that they are in during the balloon launch. Not only that, but you get the same amount of curve at 105,000 feet as you do on the ground. Now, when you send a camera up without a fisheye lens, the horizon remains flat and at eye level no matter how high you go, which is completely inconsistent with a sphere. Mainstream science says that we can see a curve at 35,000 feet, but here we are at 120,000 feet, 15,000 feet higher than Vice's balloon, and without a fisheye lens, there is no curve to be seen. Nice try, Viceland. But the Earth is flat and motionless.
How you can go up into near-Earth orbit and stay still and the Earth is not flying by if it's spinning on a goddamn axis? Oh, I'm sorry, you can't explain it, can you? The fuck? All the people saying that the Earth is round, there's no way they understand the particle density and radio theory. So when they say everyone's retarded who thinks the Earth is flat, they don't understand why they think the Earth is round, is my bottom line. They don't. So when people just go, oh, well, it's clearly just radio theory and fucking frequency and fucking particle... No, you don't know. You don't know, and you're trying to fucking hold on to something that you don't understand. And that's the problem I have. Is people with this condescending, shitty attitude, but they don't actually know anything. Explain to me how NASA shows us images of the Earth that are photoshopped. The clouds are fucking duplicates of the other clouds in the fucking thing. Does that not ring any bells? Flat. Oh, this retard's gonna think the Earth is flat. By the way, I'm not arguing that the fucking Earth is flat. I just want people to fucking explain to me how it's round. I'm not comfortable with any of this, and I'm not on board with the flat Earth thing at all. I'm just finding the arguments for round Earth to be... Because I'm preparing to debate this Eric Dubay guy, and so I want my fucking arguments concrete. The arguments for round Earth are horrible. Dude, I'm getting angry because everybody that's acting like I'm retarded has not thought through any of their arguments. And if... Oh, God, this is a fucking nightmare. I can't be a flat Earth person. I mean, I can't be a flat Earth person. So your argument is either that combustion rockets don't work in a vacuum because that's a problem, or you're wrong. Fuck!
Every time you see a country go to space, quote unquote, they're entering a pact. Or same with a nuclear country. There's no nuclear bombs. No one ever went to the moon. Fact, I can prove that over and over again. There's no chance. Zero. Why would they lie? World control? People lie so they can fuck strangers. People lie so they can do cocaine and stay up all night. People lie so they can get an extra $100 so they can go to Applebee's. Why wouldn't someone lie to be able to control the entire world?